Hi, my name is Mansi, and I am a mixed media artist and a creativity facilitator. What that means is that I love doing mixed media. I love getting my hands messy. You'll always find paint on my hands. I love mixing up different mediums. As you can see, my wall behind is full of inks and texture pastes and acrylic paints and a whole lot of other stuff. There are colored pencils on my desk all the time, distress crayons. And I love mixing it all up. And what I love more than that is helping other people find their, or rediscover actually, their inner creativity and help them not worry about what it is that is going to be the end product, what it is that they're going to make. Because it really isn't about the end product. It really isn't about making frameable art. It's about expressing yourself. It's about letting go. It's about being in the moment and really immersing yourself in the process. And that's what I help people navigate. And that's what fills up my bucket and fills their bucket too. So it's a beautiful, lovely expression of ourselves in our own unique voice, in our own unique way. And it just is so fulfilling. So I hope that you like this video that will encourage you, hopefully will inspire you, motivate you, and also give you some new ideas on how you can use the supplies you have and mix them up. And don't worry about what the end result is, but just enjoy yourselves and enjoy doing it. That's really the key. Creating with your heart and just letting your hands follow. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy this video. So in this video, you'll see me using mixed media paper, starting with a blank sheet and just scribbling. And that really is my way of starting anything, is by either spreading paint with hands on the paper or just scribbling with color pencils or crayons. Just a way of not having a blank page stare at me. And you can do it with any mediums you have. You could do it with your crayons, with your wax pencils, with acrylic paints, with watercolors, with gouache, literally with anything that you have in your stash. Just spread it around so that you have some color down. It doesn't matter what color it is. I usually just go for whatever's closest to me. And I try different techniques. I will scrape with a scraper. I will add some textures with another scraper. I will use stencil sometimes. I will just use a palette knife or mostly my fingers. I really like using my fingers a lot. I will rarely use brushes when I'm doing any kind of mixed media art unless it feels like the right thing to do. And what I mean by the right thing to do is if it feels good to me in the moment. That's really the tool that I go for. Whatever makes me feel good in the moment. So my art is very organic. It's if I feel like scribbling while the paint is still wet, I will do that as you saw me do here. If I feel like stamping, if I feel like using stencils, it's more of let's not think about the next step, but let's just do what it is that I am feeling called to do in the moment. I usually also have zero patience when I am doing any sort of mixed media. So you will not see me pick up a heat gun and do any kind of drying in between the layers. You will likely not see me pick up scissors either. There's just a whole lot of organic, in the moment doing. And that I think is what makes the process so much more enjoyable to me, because I am not stopping to pick up specific tools to do specific things. I am just using my hands, relying on them to have a very organic look and feel, a very from the heart look and feel to my projects. And again, it is all experimentation. You see me using some gold flakes here, and that was more of, okay, this is, something that I've never done before. What happens if I try it? So I didn't use any gilding glue or anything of that sort. It's an experiment. And most of my art is an experiment. It is more of, what if I do this? What's going to happen? The only way to find out what's going to happen is by actually doing it. You may watch a bazillion videos. You may watch so many different artists tell you what happens if A is mixed with B or if this follows this. But you don't really know what overlapping will do with different media unless you try it yourself, because you might want to do it a different way. And what's stopping you from trying that? You yourself, right? It's that fear holding you back of what if I ruin something? And that's really what I try to encourage letting go of, is that feeling of holding something too precious to you. I felt like trying out washi tape. There were flowers that I had on these washi tapes that I hadn't used. And I thought, well, this is a very, very busy background. I mean, this background could really be used for multiple things. It could be used for collaging. It could be used for sketching something. It could be used for stamping silhouettes on. There are so many things that you could do with this background. But I hadn't used washi tape with flowers on it on such a busy background. And to me, there was a lot of curiosity around how could I use this washi tape on a busy background and make it look good, that it would feel good. And really, I'm saying what would make it look good, but that's not really what I was even thinking in the moment. It was more of, let's see what happens when I do this. Let's see if I mix it up with some gold washi tape, what happens. And it's just a whole lot of experimentation, as I said before. So my encouragement to you is use what you have, mix and match things. Don't worry about what the end result might look like. Kind of just go with the process. And here, because you had one sheet of paper and you're tearing it up, you have multiple different little canvases now to experiment on. And so you'll see me trying out different things on each one of these in the actual class that is not hyperlapsed. If you wish to join that class, I will have details about it in the video description below. And I'm just going to be exploring different media, different styles, different overlapping, doing one thing before the other, and then changing the order up in the next card. Because now I suddenly have all of these canvases, these pre-prepared canvases with a background that I can do whatever on. So it's really fun to be able to do that, to be able to just figure it out as you go. And as you're in the process, I think for me, it's usually 5 or 10 minutes before completion that an aha moment happens and I go, oh, that's what I want this to look like. And then I work towards that vision that's in my head. But for 90% or 95% of the time that I'm doing this, it really literally is, I have this sitting right next to me. What if I plop this on? I have this product that I haven't used in this piece. What if I do that? I have done crayons over acrylics. What if I did it the other way around? What if I did acrylics over crayons? What if I added gouache to this? What if I did colored pencils that were non-water soluble in conjunction with colored pencils that are water soluble? Then what happens if I add some gesso on top of that? So there's a lot of, looking around at my table, which is always a mess, and just picking up stuff and just not stopping, just constantly doing. Because the moment I stop, I will start thinking. So I stopped, like at this point, this was like, okay, so I know what this is now. I know that the focal image is going to be that flower blooming with those little buds. It says renew on it. I know I want a lightness to it. I know I want the edges to be dark because I want this flower kind of emerging from that darkness. And that was literally the last 5 minutes that emerged. And then just doing my mark making, my accent making, and it feels complete. And that's when I stop. When it feels complete is when I stop. There is no comparison of this is what it should look like because this is what I did before, or this is what somebody else did. This is really, truly an exploration, a discovery, and you end up with so many different mixed media cards, and each one is going to look different, even though the process for each one is very, very similar. So you see here, I made a little booklet of these same, or similar, I should say, washi tape inspired blooms. And you can see the one that I did earlier looks nothing like the one I did now, because in this moment now I felt different. The what ifs that I had were different. And so every time you do it, even with the same products, you will have a different result if you decide to let go and be in the moment and listen to your heart and let your hands follow. You yourself will not create the same exact thing as before if you give in. And that really is the key, is giving in. So again, if you want a more detailed look at the products I've used, at how I did it, why I did what I did, how I was overlapping, the lessons I was learning as I was doing it, I have a full explanation with no hyperlapsed videos in my course, details of which are in the video description below. If you'd like to join me, I'd love to have you there. So I hope you enjoyed watching this process and listening to a bit of how I'm doing my mixed media projects, and I hope to see you in the classroom. Thank you for being here.